doing great. If not, as always, hope it gets better for you. So we're doing vertical this time. This time was my fault. I forgot to set it up on horizontal. But anyways, we're here for the first Wednesday night Q&A where we talk about freshwater aquarium keeping. Whatever your questions may be, we're here for you. We know there's a lot that can go into it, and sometimes it's good to have a place to be able to ask your questions and get some help. And I've been doing this for a long time, although this is the first Wednesday night. For those who are new here, we've been doing this on Friday nights for the longest time, years upon years. And we do things a bit different too, as far as filter, no filter, all that kind of stuff. Lots of experience here. So try to give you some time to be able to ask those questions for whatever your aquarium may be needing or you may be wondering. And if I can't answer it, we've got an awesome community here that can. But hello, everybody in the chat. Good to see you guys. And good to be here on the first Wednesday. This is going to be really interesting. I mean, I'm definitely a creature of routine. So this is new for me and it feels a bit different and I like it. I like it so far already. Just knowing that I'll have more time coming up here on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays to really focus on what I'm doing out there and making content for you guys. And if you guys haven't realized, there's been a lot of shorts coming out, like one a day at least, and trying to get more long form videos done for you guys. But I got to buckle down on that. There's been a lot of like fish movement in the fish room lately, and just trying to get things bred out for you guys. So that's been like the main focus. And all the shipments are out. Thank you guys all so much for the support and orders on LRBAquatics.com. Very, very helpful. And got those all out. So you guys should have an email with your tracking. And also updated the website. So usually I try to update it by Thursday. I have been doing it more on Wednesday nights. The website says I updated on Friday. So you guys in the live stream listening to me, this is like a heads up because there's certain things that don't last very long on the website. They can go real quick because they're rare fish items. I don't like to call them items, but rare fish that don't last on the site for very long. So I did put on a pair of blue galaris. And for those who saw the Beta Unimaculatus videos, there's actually two pair of them on the website. And I also started releasing some King Yamas. I don't have a whole lot of them, but there is probably like 20 or so on the website available now. Who knows how long those will last. But I wanted to let you guys know. And on Wednesdays, since it is my shipping day, and then I've got to wait till 8 to be on here with you guys, which is an event for me to do lives here with you guys. And I absolutely love it. And, but for the meantime, I got to fill my time in and with the aquarium stuff and actually getting things on the website. I think it really motivates me. Brady T says, "Will you have any more calico plecos available in the near future? Purchased ones from you and now want to start breeding them." I don't know. It's hard to tell because I actually got those from another breeder. So unless he really told me, and let's see, there's like a couple weeks until the next time I'll probably see him. So I don't know. There's a chance. There's a chance. So just stay tuned. There may be some, but nothing like solidified like I will have them at this point. But yeah, I try to get out what I can when I have it, and like I said, a lot of things don't last long on the website for like those for to get things. I am at the bottom of the chat. So if you got a question, that's where I'm at. Feel free to ask them. Oh, Darbwire says, "Man, established 29-gallon from someone locally. How would you go about transporting it home? Has plants, water, and fish in it?" So if it's a 29-gallon, I don't know how strong you are, But what I would typically do is lower the water down to the substrate, and then I would put paper towel over the plants. That way, it just kind of keeps them wet, doesn't allow them to dry out. And if you want to put saran wrap over the top too to help with that, that's double protection. And then when you're moving it, you either want two people or to be really strong. But you guys, when you move it, you have to be careful not to, like, you got to keep it more even, because if you like got any sway in your strut, you're gonna just slosh it around everywhere, because that momentum of the water, once that momentum of the water shifts, it can just knock things around. There goes any kind of aquascape there ever was. So you want to be real careful not to let it slosh, to kind of fill its center of balance and keep it kind of balanced steady. And then once you do that, I would add, once you get it to where it belongs and where you want it, I would add only halfway full on that first day, and then maybe give it a couple days, and then that way it gives the water time to kind of acclimate to the beneficial bacteria, the cycles that were going on there. It's not like full on 100% water change. It lets the water marinate a little better after being recharged with all that reoxygenized water. But I hope that helps you out. Starwire says, would you take the fish out or leave them in a few inches of water? I would definitely leave them out. I would put them in a bucket with the aquarium water and or beneficial bacteria if there's a filter with it. I mean, as long as you got the aquarium water, you don't have to really worry about it so much. But yeah, definitely take the fish out, because if you don't, that could be problematic. Very problematic. Now, there's been times where I didn't get the fish out, realize it, and they do all right. But it's still not good, because if you slosh it and cause a big issue, I don't know, maybe they get wrapped up in the paper towel, and that you're going to want that water level as low as possible. Because anytime you leave a gallon of water, that's going to be 8 pounds heavier, 9 pounds heavier, really, if you round it up. So that adds up pretty quick. And 29 gallons not fairly huge, but it's big enough that you can move it like, or small enough you can move it like that. All right, got at the bottom of the chat. If you got a question, that's where I'm at. If not, then I guess I'm gonna ramble on. I really wish I would have had this. What? Yes, Lady LRB is making sure I'm in live chat. But anyway, I really wish this would have gotten the horizontal mode instead of vertical. We need to get back to that. Better Great Lake says, hey Lucas, I got notice today that your plant shipped. Excited for the reshow. Well, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's on the way. It's some real healthy stuff too. Barbwire says, I built a sled to transport it, which is basically two 2x4s longer than the tank for handles and connected with shorter 2x4s. Perpendicular. Keep it off the ground. Works really well. That's good. Just make sure that your path is cleared out, because if you hit any bumps and it's got that sudden halt, or you halt it too soon, you'll have that momentum change of force that will kind of mess it up. But if it's like a pretty like basic layout, then I mean, you might not even care that much. And hello, everybody coming in. Good to see you guys. Hello, hellos. And yeah, I'm excited to be sharing with you guys what's going on out there. I've kind of like, I got a lot of orders this week, which I was really happy about. But man, if I ain't still addicted to buying fish, I tell you, I spent some crazy money this week on some fish, which I'll be excited to share with you guys once I get them and they get here. But I pretty much spent all that money on fish. You guys know how it goes. Super excited to be able to share those with you. I just can't tell you yet. Darkwire says, yeah, basically an inch of stratum and one log, so should be fine. Thanks for the tips. Yeah, that should be good. Especially a log will kind of hold it a little bit. Just if you get that extreme slosh and it gets real wild. If it's just like a little bit, should be able to fix it up. Jessica Hussey says, LRB, I got some butterfly catfish. They're only like an inch big. They're the cutest thing ever. I got them on frozen shrimp. Do you know anything about them? Butterfly catfish? I don't think so. I don't think I know much about them at all. I can't picture them. Does anybody know anything about butterfly catfish? If you do, enlighten us. I'll be looking out and sharing with everybody as well. Beto Great Lake says, I seen a documentary. It showed a killifish that jumped out of water to get to another pond. Yeah, that's why lids are really important for killifish because they do jump. They have no fear of going beyond their parameters and trying to find some water somewhere else. Like they'll sit there and flop on the ground until they do. They're kind of wild. But yeah, it was a cool documentary, especially with the blue gularis. That was like one of the, I don't know, I think I may have seen that video. No, I didn't see that video before I got blue gularis. It was the golden wonders that really got me to the blue gularis. But anyways, yeah, elephant footprint, blue gularis, had eggs in it, raised up, flopped out, went to a regular place of water. Now, I know on some of those documentaries they do kind of set things up, but as jumpy as those things are, I can believe it. Caleb Kreider says, just got into the hobby and realized super quick how fast and easy mollies breed. What do you recommend to move on to next, or what can I feed the fry to? I'm not a big like feed fish to fish kind of guy, so I couldn't help you with that. But as far as like moving on to like guppies, endlers, those are all along like the same kind of route. And then you've got like your swordtails, which are a lot like mollies. Or maybe get wild with it. Maybe try a pair of angelfish. Or really any fish that tickles your fancy. Like if there's a will, there's a way. There's enough information now out there that most fish out there you can find a way to breed. There are still a few that are kind of like tough to really get bred out, like my rope fish, for instance. There still hasn't been like a real good way of people sharing out how to like really breed them out. But as far as like all the other fish, there's like keelies. Like try to work with your water. Definitely understand your water, know your water, especially if you're new to the hobby. And then that'll give you a more idea of what to play with if you really want to get into breeding. And that's a huge rabbit hole. Be careful with it. It will cause multiple tank syndrome. I mean, that's pretty much how I ended up with all the tanks that I have. Is you get into the breeding of the fish and certain fish, and it'll just make you want more and do more. It's really enjoyable. Honestly, it's like one of the hobbies out there that doesn't really die out. If you really learn it and you start to understand it, like it's a hobby that would carry for your life. You know, there's certain things you can get tired of doing. And as a hobby, I don't know. At least for me, it's very addicting. Hence the name, Never Enough Tanks. I mean, the name has been Aquarium Hoarder. It's been all kinds of names like that. I don't know. I feel like I need to change that up. I ain't changed up that second part of the name for a while. I don't know what I'd do it though. I've run through the gauntlet on all kinds of them. Chesapeake Crustacean says, any tips on trimming, taming a queen marble sword? It is coming out of the top of my Sienna 80 gallon. I believe that. That's the thing about sword plants. A lot of people don't realize when you buy them, like they're moderate size, they're good size, but they are tank busters. And the fact that they can literally grow out to the full span of, say, something like an 80 gallon. And as far as trimming it, it's I don't personally know of a way how you could keep it from outgrowing besides it knowing itself its limits. So what'll happen is it will keep pushing to the top, keep pushing to the top, and it'll kind of hibernate to itself, and then it actually might start throwing a lot of runners for you. So I would keep letting it do its thing. You can't like trim off like the top leaves and it's just gonna grow back and be shorter. Excuse me. Because chopping off the new growth inner leaves of a plant like that is actually more detrimental to it. It's more of a side leaf shedder. So I don't know. I've never actually trimmed one. I always just let them go and let them create babies. And then if I want to restart it, then you restart it with a baby sword. Yeah, they can be tank busters. They can really grow out like crazy. Caleb Kreider, does anybody else have like trimming tips for an Amazon sword? I'd be interested in that. I don't really keep them much because just due to the fact how much space they take in a tank. Caleb Kreider says, how do you measure TDS? So I just use the pin, put it in the water, it gives you a number, and that's about the easiest way you can do it. Over 200 is considered on the harder side. Anything under is considered on the softer side. Well, thank you, Caleb, for ordering plants as well. I appreciate that, dude. And rocking the LRB sticker on the hard hat. Right on, man. Right on. Hard hat worker, too. I got respect for you because I used to work construction and I know how that stuff goes. And you know what? That's actually really good work. Anytime you can get into any kind of construction, working with your hands, learning how things are built and made, those are skills that can carry with you forever. So that's good to hear. This fake crustacean says, I knew it would get big, but like it's a big tank and I'm amazed, horrified. Yeah, it's already thrown one runner. So yeah, it'll probably throw multiple runners for you and you'll just have a bunch of babies now. And yeah, they'll get huge. 80 gallon. I gotta say, that's pretty impressive for a sword. But I believe it. I bet it's absolutely beautiful too. Like I can picture it just because I've had like the 40 gallon, the miniature version of that. That is literally twice as big as the one I had. Thank you, Lady LRB, for posting that website. Appreciate that. Wonder who's gonna get the blue Gallards because I know there's only one pair. And I debated it for a while. And you know, I kind of wanted to put time into breeding them, and I was checking them, and I do got them together. But I got to put a lid on them, and the only space that I was gonna have them, and was planning on doing them, is also where I'm doing like my rock spawners and stuff like that. And when I've got those lids and I'm messing around, it actually makes those rock spawners more timid. So I had to pick, and I personally don't like having tops on my tanks either. So I don't know. I gotta let go of them. As much as I did not want to, I've got to. I gotta plan this out right. Because I got big plans as far as like trying to get things built out there. And if I do ever get a barn, I want to be able to get a barn that I don't personally have to build. Because having to build everything, yes, saves a lot of money, but at the same time, I could use the time. because there's never enough time in the day and plenty enough to do. But it's what I love doing, so I mean, it's hard to really complain. And I get to choose too. If I want to go hard in the paint, I'll go hard in the paint. If I want to just lazy Sunday, I'll lazy Sunday. But right now, I'm hard in the paint mode. I plan on being in that mode for a while, probably to like next year. Hello, everybody coming in. Good to see you guys. What's the next fish you'll offer on your website? So I mentioned them earlier. I did add some newer fish, the Betta unimaculata, some king yamas, the blue gularis pairs on there. There's some others as well that I have added. So the whole website's been restocked today. So those listening to my live streams, you guys who listen to my live streams, come on here and all that. You guys will actually know first before people who don't. Just for the pure fact that it says that I do it on Fridays. And, you know, I'm going to plan on doing them hopefully now on Wednesdays, which kind of give you guys a jump up. With certain things, I only release a certain amount of them per week. Aqua Botany TV says, "Hi Lucas, curious how many species of Corydors you have now?" So I have 0. I got absolutely 0 Corydors because Corydors, they work great in no filter tanks. You can breed them, you can keep them, but the only problem is you can't see them. And with the dirt tanks that I keep and with the sand, it would just be cloudy tank all the time. And I'm trying to steer away from that sort of tank. Now, I guess if I did like more of a rock bottom, then maybe I would have some, but there's just way too many fish to keep. I spent a lot of times with Cory cats in the old fish room, and so I kind of moved on from them. And they're kind of a labor of love to breed too, and they only breed here and there, and you got to get their eggs. So right when they pretty much breed out, or they're gonna get eaten. But there is, oh god, so many Corydors. I could literally have a fish room of just Corydors if I had enough man time, power, and everything else. They're definitely one of those addicting fish, but better with a filter due to water quality and visual aesthetics. Yeah, those wild bettas are cool. I like them too, but they're another one that you got to have a top on. So another reason why I decided to go ahead and let go of those, which was really cool. The guy who watched that video, one of the guys who watched the video left a comment, was the guy that I actually got them from the Gold Coast Society, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 years ago. I can't remember how long ago. But it was pretty cool that he got to see his fish and that they bred out and stuff, and hear from him, and pretty neat. But a Great Lake says those wild bettas you sell do okay in a 5-gallon. Yeah, they do all right in a 5-gallon. They like their like tighter space. I got them in a 10-gallon now. I would probably like, if you really want them to breed out, I don't know. 5-gallon might be small. That's probably about as small as I would go with them as a 5-gallon. I personally don't like to keep fish in smaller spaces. Hey, kitty. Also, that's another reason why I haven't really been keeping much for the killifish. Like, they did all right in those small containers where I was able to flip them to you guys. But I don't know. I'm more of a fan of like small fish. Like right now, currently, I've got those blushing tetras. I'm about to show you guys this. I shouldn't even be talking about it yet, but I put those blushing tetras in a 125-gallon log, and it's just them, and it looks freaking awesome. Just moss and them, and it's like dimly lit. It looks so awesome. I have some shorts I'll be sharing with you guys. I think I may have made a longer form out of it, but if not, I probably should and tie it into a video somehow. I figured I'll at least give you guys content of things around here. Something's better than nothing. Because there's definitely a lot to show here and share. Caleb Kreider says, "Do you ever have problems with water snails overpopulating?" Yeah, and ram's horns. They'll breed out like crazy sometimes. I sell the ram's horn. I should probably sell the bladder snails, but I usually let them go crazy. AZBC says, "Are you able to hold off shipping an order for a week?" Yeah, if you make an order and you want to grab them up, um, you can go ahead and order it, and then we can hold it off. Just email us and let us know. Be like, "Hey, I made this order. I want to wait till whenever." We ship every Wednesday because that's just the best time to ship when people are more on the weekend. Hopefully, they land like Friday, Saturday. Narrative Discourse says, "What do you primarily depend on for ketone your outside tanks? Oh, keeping your outside tanks clean, plants, water changes, or both?" So actually, I just don't do anything. I let nature, and say if there's a lot of leaf litter that gets in, usually what'll happen from that is that will feed the algae. But if there's enough plants in there, then I don't really get much for algae. It all kind of maintains itself. And or just having a lot of beneficial bacteria in there helps too. But yeah, I don't really do anything special. I really just top them off. And when it rains, I guess they get their water changed. But a Great Lake says, "I toss ram swords out so often and they keep coming." Yeah, they will. I'm a weird guy. I don't know. I'm such an empath. A lot of people wouldn't care about snails, but I actually have a policy: no snail left behind. And I try to stick to it to where even if I don't want it in that tank, I'll at least put it in some kind of tank or body of water that it can be in. I don't know. I'm a softie. Oh yeah, trumpet snails. I got those go crazy too. They're really good for the substrate though. Although they can like go everywhere. And the thing about snails when they hit like a certain population limit, it can crash out of tank, and you'll often see it happening if like you're getting like white cloudy water. And you can water change your way out of it and or take the shrimp or take the snails out, and usually they won't bloom and boom back as strong, and they kind of learn not to do that because it's either they start eating more of their eggs or something. I'm not really sure, but there's some kind of balance that usually takes place after they overpopulate. But yeah, it could happen with all those snails. As far as pond snails, ram's horns, Malaysian trumpets. Not so much like mystery snails. You have to like buy a lot, but they don't like really breed out without intervention in normal tank setups. What is that? Another filling sounds to sleep media TV. How you deal with what? My 20-gallon planted tank, literally all the plants have a coat of algae. How do you deal with something like it? Cut off all the plants down. So sometimes that happens and often happens to hardness in your water, whether it be a lot of like some mineral like iron, KH, and it will stick to the leaves and then the algae will feed off of that. And it usually comes from a plant that is newer and hasn't quite transformed to its underwater form, and they will be more susceptible from their old leaves to have that on there. So either take off the old leaves, let the new growth come out, and trim it off. And you can also use your fingers to just kind of wipe it down, do a water change after that, and or start using softer water like maybe RO or distilled water to cut that water down. Because if you have super hard water, there's certain plants that don't really absorb it as well, especially like the fancier aquascaping plants that you get into the rabbit holes of. Some of your like more common like mosses and hygrophilias and Loewigias, they will do all right with it. But the softer you have that water, the more it can break down those mineralizations and actually not be an issue. So if you cut your water with some RO or distilled, then that can help it out on like a actual level that you won't have to chase trimming and it building up and stuff. Because I had that kind of stuff happen to me a lot. Still actually do here in the fish room, although our water is somewhat soft. It's only 180 TDS. It still has a lot of mineralization just because it's all lime rock here in Florida. And I get a lot of iron. Iron's actually one of my biggest binders as far as the KH and getting on plants sometimes. That iron's crazy. That iron's a big algae feeder too. I gotta get that fixed at some point. But I don't want to do everything else in between. It's just one of those big ticket things that keep pushing back that I really need to do. Hopefully that helps you. What are the specs for the wild bettas, temps, flow, food? So I kept them no filter, food, touch of color, tropical granules, temp, mid 70s to high 70s, and that's it. And just my well water that's full of KH and iron. It's at like 180 TDS. So I don't know how well they would do breeding in like harder water setups. It's like hard soft water. I got some weird water. But yeah, not really hard to keep. Pretty stable fish. And just make sure you got a top for them if you want to get them. They can jump and will jump. Which actually for my tank that I bred them out in, I didn't even have a top on it. I just dropped the water level half. Another feeling sounds to sleep media TV says so softer water may be it because the plants are 1 year old, but how much water should take out? So what you need to do is find and learn your TDS. So you can get a TDS pin meter for $20 or under, and it's going to give you a number when you put it in your tank. You put the meter in there, it's going to give you a number. If it's over 200, it's considered harder water. If it's under 200, it's considered softer water. And what that does pretty much is give you a combination of your GH and KH, which you can go as far as getting a GH and KH test to understand which one is which. KH is kind of the devil for plants because it is a bicarbonate, and with their tissues of the plants, it can be hard for them to process other minerals through that KH because it can encapsulate the leaf material of a lot of plants. So that's why a lot of people with the really nice aquascapes, what they do is they will run RO water, and then they'll remineralize it to just the GH, which this is for like the really harder to keep plants. For say you learn that your tap water is 300 TDS and you want to cut it and maybe get it to 150, you're going to do like a 50-50 with it. If you want to get it lower than that, maybe do like a 60-40 or 70-30. Once you find out that number of TDS, then you know more on how you should formulate and how much water you should take out to get that softer water to be more beneficial for your plants. And that's why you, with a lot of those aquascapers too, or aquascape tanks, why you don't see certain fish in some of those aquascape tanks, because they do strip out the KH. They create a blank sheet RO. They remineralize the GH. They will remineralize like the trace minerals, potassiums, things like that. And some fish like guppies, mollies, swordtails, like they do need some KH at some point in time in their life because they do absorb that stuff. So some fish and shrimp, like neocardinas especially, do like that, a KH. So it all depends on what you're going for and what you're trying to keep too. I should do like more of a comprehensive video of that at some point. Oh, glad to hear that, Sunny G. I appreciate that. Glad to hear they're doing good for you. And the steak begonia. She actually just trimmed a ton out of the barn the other night. There, we can see our tanks there. Yeah, Sunny G, thank you again for that support and order. Levi Wilkinson says, "Do you keep guppies?" Yeah, it's hard. So I actually was not planning on keeping many guppies in this fish room, and it's just you can't. Like guppies will always have my heart. Endlers will always have my heart, especially with all the patterns and the colors and the way you can mess with the genetics. I've got so many mixed guppy and endler tanks and stuff that I've been working on projects with that I don't really spend the time for. There is a couple though. There's two lines that I'm really working with right now. And yeah, I love guppies. Isaac Miller says try for TDS of 120 for good soft water. Yeah, I would say that's pretty good. Also try for slightly acidic water of a pH of 6.5. Do 7.0 for plants. I've had awesome luck with liquid CO2 to kill most algae. So that liquid carbon, if you're talking about the Excel stuff, it is good at killing algae, but you should definitely read that bottle. There's cancer warnings on that. You do not want to get it on your skin. I got it on my skin one time, and that's what really got me into looking into what was actually in that stuff. And it's not really good. And if it's not that good to get on your skin, I can imagine it's not good for your fish over time. And I kind of feel like it did cause some issues with my fish. Like they didn't have the longevity as say they would after I had him quit using it. But if you want a dose treat, it does work well. So does hydrogen peroxide, or even just a water change. If you have a water change and that reoxidation, it's really good at breaking down algae. And as long as you're not dosing like high amounts of iron, especially in a tank like that that is slightly acidic, softer, you shouldn't really have to deal with algae too much. unless you've got like too much flow on there. You're getting too many other gases from like a airline or something like that that the algae can feed off of. And then also if your plants just don't like it. Sometimes people will keep their plants in high flow and they just don't like it, and then they'll just become like this crazy algae magnet, and they'll do nothing but grow algae, like hair algae all over them. Because it's just too much. The plant don't like it. See it happen all the time. That's actually a big reason why I like my no filter tanks. It's steady, it's calm environment for my plants. It's actually really good for plants. Some of you guys saw my pearlweed video. I know that one blew up. You guys really like that pearlweed short I had put out there. And that's just setting it, forgetting it, and really not doing anything. Guppies will find a way like Jurassic Park for sure, definitely. Lepardo0573 says, Lucas, my Corys laid eggs and I was able to collect some. I put them in a container with an air stone. I didn't use methylene blue because I saw you don't like it. What else can I do to make them hatch? Really, you just got to give them time. I think they typically take like 2 weeks to hatch. And that's the best thing you can do. But congrats on having your babies. But yeah, not a big fan of methylene blue. It's not good for you. And I know there's a lot of people that just swear by methylene blue. Um, yeah, I'm not a fan. If aldehyde carbon gives the fish cancer, I don't know, maybe. They definitely can get cancers and stuff like that, and tumors and sores. You can mess with them genetically, I think, too. But a Great Lake, at least that's what I've heard. But a Great Lake says, I regular sowing bred toxic in aquariums if used Thai plants and moss. So the best thing to do is get the acrylic sewing thread. But as long as it's not like most dye, most colored of cotton thread, cotton's not going to last you as long as acrylic would. So best to do the acrylic. Is the audio low? Oh, the mic's on. I don't know. Is the audio low? What do you guys think? I'm just talking low. Low, low, low. But as far as those Cory cats, I would probably put a leaf litter in there. That's what else I would do with the Cory cats, because the detritus and the leaf litter that comes in nature, as far as the biofilm and all that, leaf litter is great. Great, great, great source for them for all kinds of foods and things. 3G, you're funny. Because I'm old, probably me. He's a funny dude. I've met him at the club. He's a cool guy. All right, everybody says it sounds good. So we're at the 44-minute mark. I don't know, you guys got questions left? If not, I don't mind calling it an early night because I still haven't eaten yet. And it's been a long day. I still got a lot to do. My trout goodeids popped out like 30 more babies I got to go collect before they try to eat them. Which usually they do a pretty good job as long as I keep them fed well enough. But I don't know. I don't want to risk it because that was a big breed out for one of the mommies. You know, it's not every day they do it. I grab them while you can. But a Great Lake says, how should I add my Christmas moss to tank on rock or wood? So You could either do that. You could either tie it down on rock or wood. I tend not to use wood often because sometimes they can create BBA. Another thing I'll do if I just want it to sit on like the bottom, I'll kind of spread it out a little bit and just sprinkle a little bit of the substrate. That way it'll kind of hold it down there, and or just put a rock on it and let it grow around that. Those are other options you could do. Goes really up to you. If it goes with like your escape scene with the wood, yeah, just tie it on with some acrylic thread. You'd be good. I like to use quilt thread if you're trying to get a nice thread that you won't be able to see, and it's a lot better than gluing because these plants will outgrow that glue spot. Then you'll be stuck with that glue spot there, and it's hard to get rid of it. So the quilt thread works really good. Is what I usually would use for that. Starbar says, question, what are you going to do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? Oh, that's old school. What? Okay, Kim and Carl Selke says, LB, so I was talking about that fungus on the bottom of the aquarium. Turns out it came back, but it's actually like a snot slime. I just don't understand it. So that snot slime biofilm could have been eaten off that fungus, and or if you got driftwood, often comes off of driftwood, and that kind of stuff shrimp eat. A picture is worth 1,000 words, but for what you're describing, it just sounds like a real gnarly biofilm, and fish will eat it and shrimp will eat it. Now that white fungusy stuff that's like low on the ground, it's white, it doesn't like really expand out. That's the stuff that's not good. Sonny G says I'm a Medeka head, bro. You and me alone. I mean, you and me together. I mean, okay, so that was another thing I spent a bunch of money on this week. About $400 worth of Medekas. I bought like 12 Medekas for $400. Uh, that happened. But I'll be excited to share those with you guys. I just dropped my water, daydreaming about those Medekas. I can't wait for them. I don't know. I may keep them a secret for a while, but it'll be hard not to share them with you guys. Thank you, Lady LRB, for the assist there. Getting wet and wild here at the fish farm. Oh, these towels do not work that great. They just smear the water around like microfiber. You need to get some fish towels in here, the absorbent ones. Which the fish towels that I use in my barn, I actually go get the cheap ones at like Family Dollar that are made out of cotton. They just soak things up. But like these, if you got a towel in your fish room and they're like texturized, where some of it's up, some of it's down, no, you want it all just fluff. That's the best way to absorb that water. That's wiping water 101. Fishing line before, yeah, you could use fishing line too, but smaller stuff. That micro line stuff. Madakas are addictive for sure. Any recommendations on getting some good plant growth without CO2? So, best way to do that is be steady on your water changes. Oh, sorry to hear that, Jay. That sucks. Most of the deaths and barbs to the heat. Yeah, barbs. I don't know. I think the reason why my Dock and Sea did good was because there was a deep enough depth. So if you're keeping fish outside and you're worried about the heat, the best thing to do is just have something deeper. Because the deeper that water is, the more ability it has to hold cold down at the bottom. And especially if you got a substrate to hold the cold as well. But yeah, the heat's been crazy this week. Even at night, it's been like in the 90s. But yeah, if you want to get good plant growth without CO2, have a steady water change regimen, like 20% a week, and just stay on it. Lucas, rewatching your axolotl videos almost made me impulse buy a 40 breeder today. Oh man, you should have done it. You so should have done it. And it's crazy, like the information that's out there on axolotls is completely opposite of what I've been doing. I had a good feeling like it would work, or I wouldn't have done it. I mean, they come from Mexico, but I've been keeping them in mid 70s, upper 70s, no filter. Now there's 7 altogether. They've been getting big too, which I've got a video I'm gonna be showing you guys all their new homes, what's been going on with that, keep you guys updated more on that kind of stuff. So I'm excited for it because that Tetra tank I was talking about earlier, where I've got those blushing Tetras in, and they're actually in there for like a breeding project. You can see the axolotls in the background, so it almost looks like they're connected. It's really cool. It's really cool. Can't wait to come out with the short for that. Yeah, I think the thing about the rice fish is just now they're just like not everybody's got the space for that big, huge koi fish. As much as I would love to have the space for big koi fish, eventually someday, and one of the biggest reasons why I moved down here to have more space and be able to do something like that one day, and not have mink and stuff take them out. But those little rice fish are like miniature versions of those koi, and there's so many genetics and things out there now to mess with. It's a big rabbit hole. And for me, that's like somebody who's been keeping fish for a long time and have gone through a lot of different types of fish and down the rabbit holes for a lot of fish. Rice fish, actually, as a hobbyist, kind of have what I'm looking for now as far as like having something fresh with genes and things to play with. Kind of like used to with shrimp. Did that wasp ever get you? Cause that was pretty gnarly. Well, Kim and Carl Selkie. The one that came towards the camera. No, he didn't get me. Luckily, but every once in a while we'll get them in there in the barn because we got the plants in there, and so they'll try to pollinate things. But there is a video out there where a bunch of wasps got me on my hand, and it was right before like it was during like the Fins and Fury thing. That was gnarly. My whole hand swole up. It was just ginormous. My arm and my hand. Yeah, those blushing tetras, they are awesome. Caleb Kreider says, accidentally introduced mosquito larvae into my 55-gallon cube. Why, you don't have fish in there? Oh, I was about to say, fish took quick care of it. Yeah, for sure. They'll be on them. That's like their number one meal. If you want to give your fish the best meal possible, besides blackworms, mosquito larva, that's it. Like really, I mean, keep a mosquito bucket. Some people keep mosquito buckets in their backyard just so they can go out there, dip the larva out, and feed their fish. Dip or chewing tobacco is great for stings. So when I was a kid, I actually got stung by a ton of yellow jackets. I think I had like over 20 some stings, and my mom ended up breaking up a cigarette and putting the tobacco on my arm to pull that out. Supposedly it works. Wasps versus ants. Florida keeps you hopping. Oh God, it's the ants for me. The wasps, I don't mind. The wasps are nothing. They do their thing. I do my thing. As long as I'm not like putting my hand on them and messing with their nest, they ain't really messing with me. But the fire ants, God, they're the worst. They're the worst part of Florida, I think, out of anything. It's definitely the fire ants. Like, I miss Indiana where I could lay on the ground and not worry about getting eaten. Because something about me, they just bite into me as soon as they get on me. And my skin does not like it. Like, they really do damage to me. Some people it doesn't even bother them, but like poison ivy doesn't bother me, but fire ants, I think it's gotten better the more I deal with it, but like it'll leave holes in my ankles and stuff. And it'll be scarred up for a while. Cam Carl says, one last question, LRB. I know you want to going now. I have baby angels, about 4 months. They're still in a 10-gallon. When would it be smart to move them into a grow out tank? So the sooner you move them out to a grow out tank, the sooner they will grow bigger for you. They won't grow as quick and as smaller container. Once you get them into a bigger container and space, they will grow out a lot quicker for you, and sooner the better on that. I mean, if they're 4 months now, I wouldn't wait too much longer. Oh no, Cam Carl, that sucks. Sitting on a fire ant hill. On. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, the mic died there. I don't know how much you guys heard, but we're talking about the larva. That would be good for the fish. I can hear the words coming out of your mouth. All right, yeah. All right. Just in time to hop off. You sound like from that commercial. Can you hear me now? Hear me now? Right? That's an old classic. That was in my time back in the day. All right, so we are at the hour mark. If you guys have any final questions before I pop off here, I will try to answer them for you. If not, I think it's about dinner time for me. I'm hungry. Oh, and I gotta go get those trout Goudia babies. I cannot forget that. But all right, I appreciate you guys. I don't see any questions. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm liking the Wednesday nights. I think this is how we're gonna keep it. I think it'll flow good. So till next time, everybody, I'll see you on the next one. Oh yeah, and if you like it, hit the like button. That'd be appreciated. Let's YouTube now.